Hello, welcome. Seeing as it's just nearly springtime here in New Zealand, I'm going to today edit some photos of some of the most beautiful daffodils in my garden. So I'm starting off with this one here. It's a really very, very pretty, tiny, creamy white daffodil, and it smells really nice. So what do you think I need to do here? I'm going to take the highlights down a little bit because there's so much white going on. And I want a little bit more contrast. So I'm going to turn that up a bit. And a little bit of clarity. Here are the whites to really brighten that up. So if I zoom out, that looks really nice. That looks really crisp and nice. Beautiful. You can see all the whites, but you can see all of this around here. It's so much clearer than it was. Have I done enough? I think that looks really nice. A little bit more white. How much is that? About there. I think that looks really nice. Okay, well I'm going to open that up now. It looks good. Now I really wanted this series of images to be in landscape. So I'm going to rotate it clockwise. No, I think that went the wrong way. I think we should go the other way. Like that. And now I'm going to do a little bit of a crop. And because I want this here to be more in the middle, lots of this is wasted sort of space. I think if we move it up to about there, that there's a much better composition. That's good. So now I'm going to make it a little bit smaller for putting on the internet. Cool. And I'm going to save it as a JPEG because that's what you put on the internet. Awesome. Cool. Now it's time to do the next one. So I'm going to open up my next little daffodil flower and see how it looks. This actually isn't a great photo. So I'm going to give me a little bit more contrast and really see if I can get some clarity going. As always, the highlights tend to blow out a little bit on my camera. So if I bring them down and then pull up the whites, then we get more clarity around everything, and the whites sort of really seem to pop a bit more. If I zoom out a little bit, how does it look? It's still not a great photo. I will admit that. But it's part of my series. It's the only one I took, so I have to use it. So, I think it's looking okay. I don't think there's all that much more I can do with it. I don't think it's really worth playing with this. Except then you get, if I pull the highlights down, you get a lot more detail in some of these white areas. I think that looks fine. I'm going to open that up now. And again, I'm going to just crop it back a little bit because I want this bit here really right in the middle as the focal point. And there we go. That's a much better photo. So going to do what I always do and resize it. Okay, and then it's time to save. Okay, that's good. Okay, save that one. Right, now let's move on to the next one. Hopefully this one here is a better photo. We can hope. See, it's a bit better. Again, I'm going to update contrast a little bit, and I'm going to pull up the clarity. That looks good. So again, if I pull the highlights down, then we get a bit more of that texture in those petals. Then if I pull the whites up, it just kind of brightens everything up. It's a little bit more intense colour in the middle. Just zoom out. See, that looks quite nice. I think that looks pretty good. If I play with the shadows a little bit, there we go. There's a little bit more. So that there in the middle. Might pop up the exposure. 1 or 2. Just to make it really perfect. And I think that looks good. Let's bring it up here in Photoshop. And again, I'm going to just crop this so that this middle bit here is centered in the middle of the picture. And there you are. So as always, change the image size and pull it down to 30%, which makes it a good size for posting on the internet. And then I'm going to save that as a JPEG. There we go, fantastic. Now, next little picture is this one here. This big yellow thing. Contrast up a little bit. Clarity up a bit. Now what happens if I play with the highlights? Not a lot really. If I pull the whites up a little bit, it really makes it super yellow. Where's a good place? About there. If I pull the shadows down, then we really only get a little bit more, but it's enough. I think it makes it quite clear, quite nice. If I pop the exposure maybe up just a tiny little bit, it really just makes it pop. Okay. I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to open it. I'm not sure how much this needs to be cropped actually. It's pretty well framed. So yeah, I'm actually happy with that. So it's just a case of pulling it down and then saving it as a JPEG. Save that now. Okay, now it's time for my last little daffodil picture. You can see there the difference between the ones that I've edited and the ones that I haven't. You see that one's really over the top. Okay, I'm going to open up my last one here. Let's see, up the contrast. There we go. And a bit more clarity, which is good. The highlights. See, if I pull them down like this, I see so much more of what's happening in those petals. Then if I pull up the whites, really ups the saturation, the vibrancy of the whole picture. Again, if I pull it up just a little bit, no, that's too much. Just a tiny bit. looks really nice. Pull it up to where the bits that are supposed to be white are really, they actually are white. Then we get more of the colour in there. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now, in terms of cropping it, take a bit off around the outside so that it's more like the other ones in the series. I think that looks okay. And if I change that and make it a bit smaller, I think that looks good. And I think I'm going to save that now. I'm going to save that as a JPEG. Okay, so I'm saving that. So there we are. There's our 5 little daffodil pictures. Cool. I'm really happy with that. So, thank you for being here with me while I edited some photos. It's been fun. I hope you've had fun. And I hope you sleep well tonight and have wonderful dreams.